Today's experiment is study of passcode modulation and demodulation. This experiment is also based on the trainer kit. So this is the block diagram. Can you see the board? Can you see the board?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first thing, what is pulse code modulation? Do you know what is pulse code modulation?
Code word is reprocessed into the pulse.
Yes, that is some analog signal is digitized. Okay, you have done the sample signal experiment. The first experiment was the sampling of the analog signal. Okay, so in the PCM, the analog signal, that means on sine, is first sampled, and then the sampled output are converted to the digitized waveform. That is pulse waveform. Okay, then it is encoded and finally quantized. Type of modulation is called pulse code modulation. The analog signal is being converted in the pulse form, and then it's the quantized transmitted over the channel. So in the block, the first is signal generator. IC is there, XR2206. It generates the sine wave for the analog signal. And the second block is timing generator. The timing generator, clock pulse are generated. And there is one block codec. Codec means it encodes and decodes the signal. That is modulation and demodulation. Both are done in this block. Modulation is done with the help of analog signal and clock signal, and demodulated signal is done with the modulated output and the clock signal. See here, both PCM output and signal output. This is the PCM output is the modulation, output of the modulation, and signal output. It is the output of the demodulation block. So both modulation and demodulation both are done in the codec. Actually, two codecs are there. See this diagram. In the trainer kit, two codecs are there. In the first codec, codec 1, the sine signal 1. Signal 1 is the input and PCM output is the input. Two inputs are there. Signal input, that is an sine wave. Sine 1 is the input of the codec, and the and PCM input, that is codec 2 output, is the input of codec 1. Two inputs are there. And the outputs are PCM out 1 and signal out 2. From codec 1, we get PCM output 1, and we get at the demodulated block, we get the second sine wave, that is signal out 2. And for codec 2, the input is PCM 1, that is output of the codec 1 is input of the codec 2. And we get the demodulated output as signal out 1. The first signal is a demodulated output of the codec 2. And see this signal input 2 is the input of the codec 2, that is the sign 2 signal is the input, and by that PCM output 2, that means second PCM output is the output of the codec 2. That means we get PCM output 1 from codec 1 and PCM output 2 from codec 2. And for the for modulation unit, okay, and for demodulation unit we get signal output 2 from codec 1 and signal input 1 from codec 2. That is demodulated output is reverse. Okay. So what are the observation? We have to observe the signal generator's output. Two sine waves are there. We have to observe that two sine waves and output of the timing generator and PCM output for both codec 1 and codec 2 and PCM demodulated output for both codec 1 and codec 2. Okay. See, this is a trainer kit. See, this is the signal generator block. 2XR2206 ICs are there. These two ICs are generated separate sine wave. And these two ports are frequency adjustable ports. Okay. So first see the in output of this block. See, these are the two analog signals. Okay. The yellow one is from sign one, sign signal one, and the blue one is the sign signal two. So note down the frequency and amplitude of the signals. The sign one signal it is kept at 1 millisecond. So you can see the time period is 2 millisecond. Right? Time period 2 millisecond. Yellow one, the yellow colored is the signal to sign wave. The time period is 2 millisecond.
Yes, ma'am.
So what will be the frequency?
0.5 kilohertz.
0.5 kilohertz. That is 500 hertz.
500 hertz.
500 hertz. Okay. And the amplitude is 2 volt. It's kept at 2 volt per division. So it occupies peak to peak one division. So it is 2 volt. And for the blue one, the sign signal 2, what is the frequency? See, it is near about 1 millisecond. I'm adjusting it 1 minute. See, it is 1 millisecond. Time per division is kept at 1 millisecond, and the one cycle occupies one division. So it is 1 millisecond. So what time period is 1 millisecond? So what will be the frequency?
1 kilohertz.
1 kilohertz. And what is the voltage? See here. The voltage is 3 volt. 1.5 divisions are there. So it is 3 volt. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
So note down the specification of two signals. Sine 1 is 500 hertz 2 volt and sine 2 is 1 kilohertz 3 volt. So next block is timing generator. The sine signal is in the audio frequency range. The frequency of the sine wave can be varied from 200 hertz to 2 kilohertz. Up to 2 kilohertz it can be varied. Okay. By these two pot. Then the next block is timing generator. Can you see that? This is the timing generator. Okay. From the timing generator, There is one oscillator 8.192. See, one oscillator is there. This is the oscillator. This is the oscillator. Okay. The oscillating frequency is 8.192 megahertz. And in the timing generator, there are some ICs are there. They divide the frequency. They are actually frequency divider. Used as frequency divider. So the output of this frequency divider are two signals. One is 8 kilohertz. Note down that frequencies. One is 8 kilohertz and one is 2048 kilohertz. 8 kilohertz and 2048 kilohertz frequencies are available from the timing generator. And these frequencies are used as transmitting signal and signal or receiving signal and transmitting clock or receiving clock. These 8 kilohertz and 2048 kilohertz frequencies are used for transmitting signal. That means it synchronizes the pulses. Okay. Is used for transmitting signal or receiving signal and transmitting clock or receiving clock. Actually, with this arrangement, data from the codecs can be time division multiplexed. The sine signal and the clock signal will go to the codec 1 or codec 2, and there these signals will be time division. The analog signals will be time division multiplexed and sent to a single line. Okay. So see the output of the time division time generator. See, this is the output of the time generator. That is square wave. Note down the frequency and amplitude of that square wave. The amplitude is 5 volt. And the frequency is, it is 1500 microsecond. So T on plus T of both are equal to 80 microsecond. The time period is 80 microsecond. Calculate the frequency.
1.25 kilohertz.
1.25 kilohertz.
1.25
No,
kilohertz.
1.25 hertz.
Hertz no.
Kilohertz, sir.
It is
Mega.
1.25 or 12.5. I think it is 12.5.
Yes, ma'am.
12,
12.5.
12.5. 12.5.
12.5 kilohertz. Okay, the frequency of this clock is 12.5 kilohertz. 1 minute. This is the output of the timing generator. Then go to the codec 1. Actually, the various words are there. Connection is not properly understood. So I will show the block diagram. This is the block diagram, okay? From signal generator, this is signal generator signal 1 and this is signal 2. Sine signal 1 and sine signal 2 are generated from the signal generator. Then this is the timing generator. This is the timing generator. This is the power supply section for the trainer kit. The sine signal 1 goes to the codec 1 and PCM output is the output of the codec 1. This is the output. Okay, PCM output 1 and sine signal 2 goes to codec 2. Sine signal 2. Signal 2 goes to codec 2 as signal input. Okay, and this is the PCM output. PCM output 2. So this is the modulation part. For this demodulation part, PCM output 1 goes to codec 2 and signal output 1 is coming from codec 2. And here PCM output 2 goes to codec 1 and signal output 2 is the output of the codec 1. That is demodulation. In demodulation, reverse signals are obtained from the okay. So this is the block. This is the codec 1. See the output of the PCM output of the codec 1. See the upper one, the yellow one is the PCM output. See the upper one is the PCM output, okay? And the lower one is the clock output, that is output from timing generator. See at the positive edge of the clock, the PCM output pulse are generated. The upper one is the clock pulse, okay? Blue color, it is the clock pulse. See at every positive edge trigger, that is if clock is positive edge triggered, okay? So every positive edge of the clock, the PCM output, PCM output output pulses are synchronized. That is every positive edge of in the positive every positive edge of each clock, the PCM output goes to the negative. Can you notice that? Negative or off, goes off. PCM output goes off. PCM output goes off at every positive edge of the clock. Right? So draw this figure. See, the time period of the clock is same as the time period of the clock is same as the PCM output pulses. See, both on and off period, if you add both on and off period, it will be equal to the time every positive pulses, positive on period of the pulses of PCM output. And what is the voltage? It is 4 volt. The PCM output pulse voltage is 4 volt. Have you drawn that figure? Have you drawn that figure? Yes or no? Then I will go to the next section.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will provide the internal circuit diagram or theory for this trainer later. Okay. Just now I am briefing something. The codec used here is HD44233P. This is the IC HD44233P. This is the codec IC. And it consists both transmitter section and receiver section. Okay. On the transmitter section, there are filters, encoder, and compounding blocks. Okay. There are both low pass and high pass filters for so that the band limit the signal, sine signal. That is, the sine signal will be in the audio range. Okay. After generator output passes to the codec 1, it will be first band limit. Then it will go to the encoder section. In the encoder, one sampling is done. The analog signal is sampled at the rate of 8 kilohertz. Okay. And the PCM data is latched with the transmitting sync pulse and goes to the encoder section. After encoding, it will be companding. And then finally PCM output will be obtained. Now I am showing the codec 2 output. So first I am showing the demodulated output for codec 1. And see the upper one, that is blue one, that is the original sign signal 1. Okay. The upper one is the original sign signal 1, and the lower one, that is yellow one, it is the demodulated signal. This demodulated signal is get from codec 2. The PCM output 1 is coming from codec 1 and it goes to the codec 2 block. And from codec 2, the signal output 1 is coming. Draw this signal. The upper one is the original sign signal 1 and the lower one, it is the demodulated signal from codec 2. The sign signal 1 is coming from codec 2. You can see both the signals are same. See here, both the signals are same. Right? Draw these two signals. Then frequency and amplitude are same as the signal analog sine wave 1. What are the frequency and amplitude?
500 hertz, 2 volt peak to peak.
Yes. Okay, so it is demodulated successfully. Then I am going to the codec 2 block diagram. This is codec 2. What are the inputs of codec 2? One input is PCM in, that comes from codec 1, PCM input 1, and other is signal input 2. Two inputs are there. One is PCM input 1 and the signal input, that is sine wave. Sine 2 is there. Okay. Then what is the output of the signal? See here, the upper one is the original sine signal. Okay. The upper one, blue one, is the original sine signal 2, and the lower one is the demodulated PCM signal. It is coming from codec 1. See, the two signals are same. That is, it is 1 kilohertz 5 volt. Draw these two signals. So this is all about the pulse code modulation. Okay. Any queries there? Nothing. So my phone battery is low, so I cannot discuss further. One experiment remaining, that is delta modulation. But the institute is being closed from today, so I do not know on which day I can able to do the experiment, the next experiment.
ম্যাম আর একটা এক্সপেরিমেন্টই তো আছে।
Yeah. After 15 days, if the college will be open, then I will show it. Okay. Otherwise, it is not possible.
All right, ma'am.
I will provide the internal circuit diagram and internal theory of the trainer kit later. And what thing you have to do now? You have to do the first three experiment, that is pulse amplitude sampling, ppm, pwm, ppm, and ask, fsk. These 5 experiment that I have done on the breadboard, you have to do this on the multisim. And I will give a date. I will give you a date. On that date, I will check your circuits. Okay.
Ma'am, I have LT Spice. I don't have multisim.
Spice.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
you can.
Yeah, LT space.
Okay, okay. No problem. So I will give between in within 15 days. I will give one date. I give you 1 week time. Okay. In this week, you will do that all 5 experiments, and I will. mm you have to show me the results.
Ma'am, can we then attach the screenshot of the results while making the lab copies also? Because we will be doing the circuits.
No, I in the online. I will in the online. I will see it. Okay. I will divide in 30-30. I think your strength is 60. About near about 60. কত strength আছে তোমাদের?
67.
67, 60 এরকম।
Okay, I will divide you in 2 groups. You can do it yourself. You can divide in 2 groups, and because in one day it is not possible to check all the circuits. So you divide in 2 halves, and I will give the date after 1 week. Group A and group B, or group 1 or group 2, I will check in 2 days. Okay. CR is there.
Ma'am, we have to show the circuit individually or in a group.
You have to show the circuits individually.
Okay, ma'am.
I will contact with CR, and I will take the date, the possible dates. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Then 1 minute, I'll take the attendance.
ম্যাম অন্য এক্সামে 33 পর্যন্ত গ্রুপ এতে থাকে, তাহলে এটাতে কি হবে?
আমি বলে দেবো, তোমাদের সিআর এর সাথে কথা বলে আমি বলে দেবো।
ম্যাম ফার্স্ট 3টে না 5টে?
5টা আপ টু এফএসকে। আচ্ছা, অহনা সেন 34,
Yes, ma'am.
অহনা আমান কুমার 22, আমিষা ভগত 50, অনুভব 27, অর্ঘ অর্ক অর্ণব সামন্ত 43, বিশ্বজিৎ রজক 23, ত্রিতারতী Durgesh Chandra. Kaushik Dev. Khushbu. Mampi. Moksha. Moksha, what is your roll number? 30. Pavitra Mahanti. 17. Prakash Nandi. Pranay Pramanik. Rahul Lanha. Ranveer Kumar. Ravi Ranjan. Ravi Ranjan, what is your roll number? 58.
Yes, ma'am. 58.
Jessica Devna. 48. 48. Jessica. Rohit. Kumar Rohit Kumar. Shani answered 44. 53. সুমন। সুমন কোথায়? সুমনের রোল নাম্বার কত? 37 না?
37.
সুতানুকা।
ম্যাম 57।
আর কেউ নেই তো?
ম্যাম আমারটা 59।
59 দিয়েছি।
ঠিক আছে
ম্যাম রোল নাম্বার 7 দিয়েছেন?
রোল নাম্বার 7 দিয়েছি।
ম্যাম
ম্যাম রোল নাম্বার 15।
আমি বললাম তো যাদের যাদের দিয়েছি আমি মুখে বলে বলেই তো দিলাম। কত?
ওকে ম্যাম 15।
15 দিয়েছি।
ম্যাম
Okay,
14।
হ্যাঁ দিয়েছি।
28 ম্যাম 27।
হ্যাঁ দিয়েছি।
ম্যাম 28।
দিয়েছি, এরকম করে আগে বলার দরকার নেই, যারা যারা আছে সবাইকেই দিয়েছি। ওকে,
থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম।
Thank you,
থ্যাংক ইউ
ma'am.
ম্যাম।
থ্যাংক ইউ।